think we're live. Hello and welcome to the fan phone in. I'm hoping we actually get through this one because the last one had to get in the bin. But you know what? I'm delighted we're here. Sunday Night Club fan phone in. We want to hear from you. And someone else I want to hear from is my co host, as always. It's the wonderful Mark Ryman. How are we getting on, Mark?
Wonderful, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm all right. Just had a nice day to myself. I was going to plan on watching us win the test match. The cricket was terrible, but at least the football this evening was much better. So yeah, I'm all good. How about yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. Watched England ladies win the Euros, which was very surprising. Fair play. Congrats to the ladies. And if we make it to the last third of this phone in, we'll discuss that. I think it would be a good one. It's honestly, it's absolutely tremendous. Fair play to the ladies. Tremendous stuff. Because one thing that England don't do is win major finals. So that was absolutely sublime. I have to say, it was absolutely tremendous.
Yeah, back to
Yeah.
back for the women as well. They do. It's just the men. In fact, it was. I don't know about you. It's quite similar, wasn't it, to last year's men's Euro final? I mean, towards the end, Spain were just completely dominant, but unlike the men, they stayed firm and got it to penalties, and obviously won it from there. So yeah, as you say, great, a great result, and let's hope they can beat them again. Well, they lost, didn't they, against them in the World Cup final like, a couple of years ago, but fingers crossed they do it
Yeah,
differently next time
it
round.
was genuinely very concerning watching that game, and it was, a lot of the time it was hearts in mouth where you just thought, oh no, Spain are just levels above. And I actually said on the Discord server, I know we are going to talk about this later, but I'll bring it round to Luton Town. In the first half, I actually said in the Discord server, this has sort of parallels to where it looked like when Luton played Brighton in the Women's FA Cup fourth rounds. Spain looked fantastic. England's looks levels below, but you know, hey, it only matters who wins the game and who lifts the cup. So Spain, take that. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
but we're a
Alex.
Luton show. So let's kick off this first third because it seems like it's actually working, isn't it? It seems like it's
I don't
working.
want to say
Yeah.
anything. I feel
I
like I'll
know.
jinx it.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
I don't want to say anything. Just yeah, keep going. It's so far so good. Touch wood.
I
Touch
know,
wood.
right? To everyone watching, it's not a case of my internet. My internet is very good. It's actually turned out I need a PC because my
It's like Reece Burke's hamstrings; they could break at any minute.
any
We
minute,
just
like my
any
PC
minute.
makes Reese Burke look like the $1 million man. Genuinely, Lord knows what we got for him. Probably wasn't a million, but Charlton have been out splashing the cash, haven't they? A reported 3.5 million for Charlie Kelman, who we were never gonna get Kelman. But to be honest, we can save that for the second third of this phone in, which will be talking about transfers. Um, but let's touch upon the game yesterday, which was Luton nil, Spurs nil. Like, who would have seen that coming? I had us pegged for a loss, but that's a an unbeaten preseason, and it rounds up a preseason that Ryman, I think you'll probably agree with me, was poles apart from last season's preseason.
You mean Tahid Chong didn't get injured by a step? Yes, it's definitely better.
It's a shame
Um,
he didn't.
yeah, he's nowhere to be seen, is he? But yeah, poles apart, as you said. And look, I mean, we'll start with the positives. Obviously, we know that we'll talk about transfers in a bit. We know the areas that we're missing. I think defensively in the central midfield, over the last few games, not just the Spurs game, have really shown that there's a real promising sign there for League One, levels above so many of them. I like the look of Big Nige. Is it Long Wyke? I can't
It's
quite know
Diet
how to
Diet
pronounce his
Van
name, but
Dyke. Diet Van Dyke. No way.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean he looked great even when he was put out of position. When Alfie Doubt was pulled from the lineup, I think he looked good. And obviously, we know all about Makosso. You know, we have to keep hold of him. He's such a promising central defender and far too good for League One as well. And in the middle, Clicker just look back to what we know he can do. So yeah, real promising signs there. No injuries this game, which is pleasing as well because we couldn't deal with any more of those. But yeah, as I'm sure we'll pick up on, we desperately need someone who can put the ball in the back of the net at the other end.
Yeah, and that is one where Naki Wells doesn't seem to be the one for me. I have high hopes for Lassie Nordas. He had one good moment in that game with a flick on, another moment where he seemed to trip Jaden Luca, I think. Um, but ultimately, the only firepower really is Millie Ali, but he is not a forward, as shown by his finishing. He can do everything up to the shot at goal, and then it's just very concerning, and we definitely need that. I don't know. Could Nordas be that 20 goal a season striker? I
Yeah,
honestly don't know.
he could be, but the key word there is hope, isn't it? Because there's no evidence to say that he definitely will, and I know that he's certainly not been there and done it. Look, I hope that he does. I really do. There were signs. He scored a very good goal in the last preseason game against Southend. Good finish. But you know he hasn't he hasn't yet shown that at the levels that we need him to consistently to tell me that he's gonna score those goals. I hope that he does. I really do. But I'd rather not go into Friday night with just hope. It would be good to get someone who's either done it at this level, or has shown real potential. And yeah, at the moment, as you said, Naki Wells, he's rusty. He's clearly rusty. But he's even if we get him back to where we know he can be, he's still not going to be the answer because he's only going to play half the season, 2/3 if we're very lucky. He's certainly not going to be starting every game, is he? So we do need somebody else, and Jacob Brown and Elijah are out for the foreseeable. So there's nothing else there. I'm not going to mention Woodrow, but
Well, Colton Morris seems to
it's
think that Cauley Woodrow is going to be, a star this season. He said it's a fantasy EFL, which made me laugh. Made everyone laugh.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's so
Um,
confident we'll do well. He sodded off to Derby the first opportunity.
yeah, but to be honest, that's for the best because I'd much rather get rid of Colton Morris and bring someone else in. I think Naki Wells is probably going to be a very good option off the bench. However, I think he's not going to be coming off the bench. It looks like the back three is going to stay. We played the back three again today. Yesterday, even Longwick, he played left wing back in lieu of Alfie Doughty. And to be honest, I don't mind the back three when it looks like the players are all competent and know what they're doing. Because a big problem with the back three under Rob Edwards was no one knew what they were doing. There were massive gaps all over the pitch, like essentially between the left wing back and the left centre back. You could get in behind. The same on the other side. In the midfields, the midfielders were just too far apart. Uh, Honestly, it's like chalk and cheese. Now, I'm not a fan of the back three because it makes your shape up top really wrong. Um, and especially when you're playing, a 3-4-3. So you have Ali and, whoever else is starting on the right hand side. Essentially, are the problem is there's no support. And we saw this again yesterday. Ali had to pretty much burst into the box with the ball to provide any semblance of attacking threat here. But that it's all about your midfielders getting close enough to your striker. It just looks better as a two-man up top. So maybe a 3-5-2 would be more sensible. At least that's my
Yeah.
thoughts. But I'm not, look, Matthew Byro pointed out in the comments here. Please get involved with the comments. We've got no editor Kate tonight, so it'd be good to hear from all of you. and remember to call in as well. We only conceded 2 goals in this preseason, and regardless of the level of the opposition, last season we were playing like sausage farmers in God knows where, and we looked absolutely atrocious throughout. So it's quite exciting. I don't think we're winning the
Sausage
league.
farmers. I can't believe you said sausage farmers. Sorry, I'm just gonna leave that.
What do they farm in?
They
What were some of the
don't. They don't
places
grow out
we...
the ground, Ollie. We need a basic kind of biology. Amazing. Potato farmers. You could have gone with, I suppose, any crop.
Any
really.
crop? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I
farmers.
absolutely. Yeah, no, never mind. But yeah, look, I agree. It's so much better. I worry about the 3-5-2. What I worry most about a 3-5-2 is Ali playing left wing back. I really don't want us to end up with, out of necessity or for whatever reason, end up playing him at left wing back, because he is wasted. We had this exact same conversation about Ogbene at right wing back at the start of last season. I don't want to see him wasted there. I think he'd do half a job, but he is so needed going up the pitch as a winger. So that's my main issue with it, I guess.
Yeah, and there are some good points being raised here as well. Like Rich says, we need a striker cover at right wing back and major work at left wing back. That goes back to your point of, if Ogbene had to cover right wing back, you lose that further up the pitch, and it meant Ogbene had to run into 80 yards of space rather than the final 40 or the final 30, meaning he was absolutely gassed. And that is the problem with the 3-4-3, the 3-5-2, because then you're getting your left wing back cover from Ali, but you want him up there with a 3-4-3. But the problem is then your strike is very isolated. And I see Matthew Byro saying, I hope Fanny gets 15 this season. I don't think Fanny is going to be here. So I was actually speaking to David Wilkinson a couple of weeks ago at the Hatters Heritage Trustee meeting, and he said, yeah, Fanny's got a concussion. There is no concussion that lasts this long. There isn't. I
mean, I hope you're wrong because of how promising he looked.
Yeah.
At the start of the preseason, he looked great, didn't he? In that first game in particular against Bournemouth, and I think he contributed in the, was it 8-1? I can't remember what the score was in Slovenia, but it was ridiculous. But yeah, there were rumours right at the start of the transfer window for him, weren't there? And I'd be surprised if clubs don't come in for him. He certainly, as you said previously, didn't come here to end up playing in League One. But yeah, if he does stay, he'll be a regular feature. It's going to be difficult, isn't it, if he does stay, to make a decision on who does play, because actually we're now inundated with central midfielders.
Now, look,
which is no bad problem.
I've said it so many times. You cannot blame him for wanting to leave. He signed in the summer thinking he'd be part of a promotion push. When he joined in January, we were 2 points above the relegation zone. You cannot blame the guy for wanting to leave. Like, it's a career. You don't stay somewhere in any walk of life, in any career. You don't stay somewhere where, you've moved somewhere and then the promises that were made to you turn out just to be not there,
Yeah. No, I agree. Same with Dello for me. Same with Dello. No blame for him whatsoever. Moving either. I know people are pissed off that he left, but it's exactly the same argument there for me. Can't blame those that are leaving that are better than the level that we're playing at, because both of those players are, clearly.
But at the same time, to play devil's advocate, Asgard, we picked up Asgard from League One, so it's not a massive stretch to think that Asgard could do another season in League One because he's so young. On the other hand, someone like Fanny, who is playing European football with AIK, and then he comes to a relegation battle, that I understand. Asgard was signed specifically in January with one eye on a potential League One battle the next season.
Yeah, I think when you've got your international manager saying that you have to play at a higher level, regardless of how right or wrong that
He's
is,
just bitter
then
because we
he
got
has
him
no other
sacked at
choice.
Wolves. He's bitter, mate.
Yeah, he probably is. But you know, Asgard's left with very little choice, and as you say, it's a short career. He could get injured. I know he's young, and I know he's only just
He's
got into the
already
squad.
injured.
But you know, they've yeah, but he's
Yeah.
well, he is injured. You're right. Yeah, but you know, he can't. You can't take the risk of that. I completely understand the decision. Anyway, we've gone off topic and we've already been 15
Yeah, I
minutes.
know,
But yeah,
right? And but we should get a caller in, right?
we probably should.
Yeah. This is a call in after all. You know, do you want to do the honors of dragging our
I'll do the
esteemed
honors.
caller in?
Oh,
Yeah.
it's He's changed his name. He's like Prince. I don't know what he's called now. What's his name now?
Hashtag in Luton
Simple.
Town we trust.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good
Evening,
evening.
Si. How
Good
you
evening.
doing?
Thank you for your patience.
No technical difficulties so far. Love to see
Don't
it.
say it. Don't say it. Oh
It's,
my
it's
God.
like it's like saying Macbeth. We talk about the Scottish play.
It's hard to disagree with the stuff you lot have been saying. Fanny, if we keep him, excellent. But like Ollie said, he didn't sign to be in League One. He's not featured for a while. You got players like Tahith Chong, who knows where he is? Is he still on a boat somewhere abroad, posting Instagram selfies? Who knows? It's still all up in the air a bit, isn't it?
Right
Yeah,
now, yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's one of those where, you know, a couple of signings through the door and we can turn around and say we've had a very good transfer window. But without it, actually, then we're clearly lacking. And I know we're supposed to be talking about transfers in a bit, but obviously with Doughty and the rumours with him, he's likely to go. He was likely to go from minute one, really. Then we leave ourselves very, very light if we don't get at least 2 or 3 players through the door, including some wingers, wing backs, and strikers.
Yeah. With regards to Doughty, obviously I want him to stay. I want who wouldn't want him to stay or be around the club with everything. The benefit for us obviously is he is on a very long-term contract and he isn't that far into it. So whatever happens, the fee is going to be good. I'm surprised that Millwall is the club that's being spoke about at the minute. Personally, no real offence to Millwall, but I would have thought maybe Alfie might go somewhere else. Who knows? Maybe this is just going to be the start, and other clubs are going to get involved. We just don't know.
Yeah, it's his club, isn't it? It's his club he supports and his family supports. I guess that's where he's from as well. So I guess there's that. I mean, I'd put this question out on Discord as well, but was told and corrected that Millwall have got a fair bit of money sloshing about now that they can afford to splash out. I think if it's one or two places, right? If he goes, that I can think of, it's either going to be the Millwall one or it's going to be Borough with Rob Edwards. But yeah, we all want Alfie Doughty, the capability that he's got. But as Ollie's, I'd say alluded to, but alluded is a very soft word for the way Ollie was talking about it. He's clearly unfit. And
Oh yeah,
if I was Bloomfield, I would question his commitment to the team at this point. Look, we know that the players were basically allowed to do whatever the hell they wanted under Rob Edwards, but Bloomfield's now been in since January, and he clearly has really pushed on the fitness levels. It was a big talking point all of last season, and the fact that yes, he's been injured. It was a nasty injury at Stoke, but he still looks like he needs to lose some weight and get fit. You know, that's not great. That's not a great look. And you know, do we want? We know we want his ability, but do we want that mentality at the club? Genuine question. Really.
I agree. I agree. Listen, at the end of the day, he's a fantastic player, but is it a case of too much water has now passed under the bridge? Is it the right move for him to now go and for the club to get maximum value out of this deal? Because let's be honest, this is where the money is for us this season. It was Ogbene last. It's very similar to Ogbene. Ogbene went real close to the start of our kickoff. You know, really close to it. I'm come to peace with Alfie's probably out the door now, to be honest. I'd like to see us spend some money now because we've got to spend some money at left wing back on a striker.
Oh, we
We
will.
just have to.
We will. But I think the money is going to come after a disappointing start to the season, most likely. We'll start, we'll be disappointed, and then money will get spent because we panic. And that is essentially how we roll. It's the Luton way, after all. And I would say Alfie Doughty being unfit is understatement of the century. Alfie Doughty looks like Franny Lee, you know, and that was in the era where footballers were necking pints. Genuinely, like, just wear a looser fitting shirt, Alfie. I don't get it. When he came on against what was it, Southend, and he turned to the side, and he was on camera. Like, I'm not into fat shaming anyone, but that was so atrocious for. Look, I know I'm not the thinnest guy on the planet. I'm not athletic. I got kids. I work a full-time job. I don't have time to go to the gym. This is a paid professional who has access to elite training facilities.
He's on at least 27.5 grand a week.
Well, you know, with relegation drops, he's probably still earning a good 300k a year. You know, which is, you know, it's money that most of us could only dream of. And he takes the piss. Like, you see his Instagram stories, and he's eating shit food, and he's necking pints. Like, come on. Just spend some time in the gym, drop some weight. But ultimately, I'm very disappointed at the club for not putting him on a diet. Like a mandated diet. Like my wife put me on a diet. I've lost weight. How can the club not do it? It's disgraceful.
All right, I've got a question. What figure would you deem as an acceptable fee for Alfie?
If we're paying by the pounds, like, it should be at least 5 million. like a prized lobster.
I don't think we'll get as much for him as people think. Personally,
we're very.
I don't think we're going to get
this.
We are, and you know, it depends on the player as well. If the player wants out, then that kind of forces our hand a little bit as well. Obviously, we don't know the situation. I'd be happy with anything around the 5 million mark. I don't think we'll get that much for him though. I think we'll end up taking about 3.5.
I think there'd be a lot of anger if that happened.
I'm gonna put that.
No, I think that's about right.
That's in the ticker below, so you'll see it scrolling across your screen. How much for Alfie? Get your thoughts in the comments. In the comments section. You can also call in, give us your thoughts on all the transfer dealings or the lack of transfer dealings. Oh, we've made 8 signings, haven't we? But
I've been quite happy with most of the players we bought in.
Yeah.
I've been happy with pre-season. I think that we look miles ahead of it from last year. I'm not even annoyed about anything. That's the thing. I'd just like to see us bring in a striker and a new left wing back if Alfie's going.
Yeah,
I think it's.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, Si, how much would you think then? Just while we're still on that topic, how much do you think we should? 6.
6.
Okay.
Yeah, we're getting some interesting ones here. Rich says 5 million plus, probably more like 2 million though. I'm on his side. Yeah, I think Rich has probably nailed it. Matt's 3 million max. Better to take the money for a player who doesn't want to be here rather than play hardball. It will be undisclosed. Dan Brennan, not a penny less than 7.5.
That's a bold call.
Yeah, that is a lot of money for a League One player. I think the record for a League One player being sold is what? It's still Ivan Toney.
Ivan Toney was 10 mil, wasn't he?
Yeah, Alfie's still relatively young though. What is he, like 26?
But he's a striker
25.
as well.
Yeah,
and Ivan Toney had an incredible season for Peterborough before he went.
Yeah.
The other problem, of course, is that Alfie's, when he's been fit, which is only a third of last season, hasn't had a good season either, and he's been in a dog shit team that got relegated. So you know, if we wanted that kind of top money for him, we needed to have sold him last year. I think that's the problem.
Yeah, exactly. Phil
What
Clark
about Ted and
says
Mengi then, lads?
Ted Mengi. I don't care what he goes for. Just get him
I'll
out
pay.
the door.
I'll pay them.
Yeah. We'll bundle in Cooley. We'll call it
Keep him in the boot with
2-for-1.
Chong.
They bog off because they can bog off from our club as well.
I think with Mengi, you know, there's I've seen a lot of stuff online about him being our best defender technically, and while technically that may be true, or certainly was before Makoso turned up and Reece Burke, possibly, but his mentality is shocking. I said it after the Borough away game that his mentality was shocking, and he demonstrated it in that final game. I can't believe that anybody really wants to see him in a Luton shirt again. Forget his ability. We don't want players like that at our club. We just don't want them. Get rid.
He was never a Luton player. Him to Heath Chong, they were never Luton players, and they never fit into what we were trying to do. We signed them because they were names. They were names that were from a big academy, and the problem with players from big academies, they don't make a first team appearance, but they think they've made it. They think they're the dog's bollocks. Look at the way to Heath Chong gallivants around like David Beckham. Like he hasn't got the footballing ability that David Beckham had in his little pinky toe, little toe. What do you call the small toe on a foot? I don't
little
know.
toe.
Yeah, you've just done it.
Yeah, well, he doesn't have an ounce of David Beckham's footballing ability, and he prances around like he's David Beckham. Like, get over yourself, to Heath. Honestly, and he thinks he's the dog's bollocks. He's pretty much his best performance at Kenilworth Road came against us for Birmingham, and that pretty much secured us signing him as soon as we went up. And then he had that game against Liverpool, and other than that, he's been absolutely dog shit. Honestly, he has. And now he's injured. He's got to go.
Is it Man United? I mean, Man United are a toxic club. We know that. And there's got to be something to that, right? They're both Man United youth products. That's what we just see. We just turn around and say we're done with Man United youth products. That's done.
Yeah, I think he was the first person we signed from Man United since Graham Tomlinson, off the top of my head. Let me know in the comments. Have we signed? Who was the previous person we signed from Man United prior to Heath Chong and Ted Mengi? I'm sure it was Graham Tomlinson.
Heath Chong we signed from Birmingham, didn't we?
Yes. Okay,
but Mengi, you're right.
Prior to Mengi,
although was he out of contract? No, we paid a milk for him, didn't we? Paid about £1 million for him.
Yeah, which was good money for a good season, and potentially we could sell him for some money. But ultimately, right now, people will lowball us because they know not that we're in trouble. We're not in trouble financially. I think we're doing all right. There is money to be accessed, but ultimately we need to get players off our balance sheet. We need to get like the likes of Marv Nakamba, who is without doubt the highest paid person at the club. What a terrible signing he's turned out to be. Obviously, he was on fire during his loan spell, but how many games has he played since we've actually signed him? And we signed him for about.
Has there been any mention of where he is?
He's training independently.
Right.
But no, there has been no official mention.
Because I think Bloomfield said, didn't he, that he's more or less said that he's happy for him to go, which is not massively surprising. We did, as you said, we absolutely need to get him off the books. But where's he going? Unless we can convince the European side to take his wages.
Ship him off to Saudi Arabia. Send him to Saudi Arabia.
Who knows? Obviously, his injury problems are going to be a concern for some clubs to take him on. He's forever injured. Despite everything he did for us to get us up, the signing hasn't worked out permanently. That's obvious for all to see. He earns way too much money to still be around the club. I think we've done a pretty good job in getting wages off the books with Colton Morris going and various others. I just want to see us reinvest a little bit of cash now. I think I don't want it to be 3 weeks into the season. I don't want to. I think we will win comfortably against Wimbledon. Don't get me wrong, but I don't want a situation. No, Ollie, you do that, mate. But this
Famous last
season, I'm
words,
so
mate.
I did
much
that.
more confident. I'm so much more confident after that pre-season, and that Bloomfield knows what he's doing. We have an actual plan. I get it being like down based on the end of last season.
I'm not being
but
down. I'm not being down. Like, I'm thinking about this logically. Think about it this way. Look at how Southend played against us. Think about the first year in the conference. Teams, we are perceived as the not underdog. Well, what's the top dog? Like, essentially, we are a team that were in the Premier League 2 seasons ago. We are a scalp for people to take. And when we're in the National League, we struggled. We have always historically struggled when we have been expected to do bits. And Wimbledon, they will pack players behind the ball. We're going to struggle. We'll struggle to like carve them open. We have always struggled to carve people open. And when you have a low block to get around, you have to take your chances. Now, will Cauley Woodrow be the one to take if he gets 1 or 2 chances? Is Cauley Woodrow going to take those chances? Is Naki Wells going to take those chances? Is Miller Nick Alley going to take those chances? If you get 1 chance a game, are they going to take it? I don't think so. I honestly don't think so. I can see it being a 0-0.
I do think it's a case of actually seeing the football play out over the first few weeks. I always try to be more positive at the start of the season. I get what you're saying, but I am looking on the bright side of things currently. I think Saville is a phenomenal signing.
He is.
I think that he is incredibly important to tackle the things that you're mentioning and battling through those teams. And I do feel a bit more confident this season at this stage of the preseason compared to last year.
And I go somewhere in between the two of you because I sort of agree with both. Really, I think. Look, I think it's difficult to say that we're going to turn around and beat teams. We already know, as Ollie said, from non-league and other sides, that sides won't roll over. In fact, weirdly enough, I was at Kenworth Road for the last time we played Wimbledon in the league.
Oh, was that with Ramsdale?
And we drew that game with Ramsdale pulling off worldie upon worldie.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what they did to us. We absolutely dominated that game, but just couldn't get past them. And that's what, at that time, we had a James Collins at the very peak of his form for us. So we did have a number 9.
We had Jack Stacey.
James Justin, Jack Stacey. Yeah, exactly. We had that team. But look, I think on the other hand, Si's right. We have had a good preseason. We've shown that at least the spine of our team, bar a striker, is absolutely capable of taking one of the top 2 spots in this league. Absolute levels above. But we have always historically struggled with teams sitting back. We have to learn to be. We have to learn to be the favourites, and we're rubbish when we're favourites. And hopefully, Saville and other players and the lack of the players that have had double relegations in our squad will help with that, and the mentality will help. Just in terms of strikers as well, I think that it's tough to get good strikers at this level, and if we do get them, it may well be that we have to wait for clubs to finish doing their business first, and that's the domino effect with the most wanted players that we'll find, is that we probably will find it difficult to sign a striker until really the last knock into the transfer window.
It means
I'm
we're
confident
signing
we
other
will buy
teams'
one, though.
cast-offs, mate. We're signing other teams'
Well, yeah,
cast-offs.
but that's all right. I don't mind signing cast-offs if they're cast-offs from the level above or levels above. That's fine. That's what the loan system's for as well. And, the loan system's done all right for us in the past. I'm fine with that. But Lowe is a cast off. If what's his name? He's just gone to Charlton from QPR. Is their cast off? None of them were disappointed that he's left. He had one good season in League One, but he's done nothing for them. So, and we would have been desperate. Kelman would have been desperate to have him. So that is what it is. But we need those teams to do business first. It was the same when we were in the Premier League, wasn't it?
Yeah, very true. Very true. Si, any concluding remarks before we boot you?
As I said, I'm quite happy with how things have gone over pre-season. It's nice to see a plan. because you can clearly see what it is that Matt Bloomfield wants the players to do. Under Rob Edwards, it was all over the place. It really, really was. So it's quite refreshing for me to see that in this Luton Town team. Do I think it's going to be an easy season? No, absolutely not. League One's a tough league. We're going to have to battle. But I think we're a decent striker away from doing well. I really do think that.
Yeah, very fair, very fair points. I completely agree with you about there is definitely more of a there is more impetus and more, well, the fitness is better, the press is better, the team structure is light years better. I said it earlier.
The manager's better.
The manager's better. So one thing that was interesting from the meeting I mentioned earlier, apparently, well, not apparently, I was told this, Rob Edwards was physically hiding from the, I think I told you this, Ryman. Rob Edwards was physically hiding from his team last preseason in Slovenia. That relegation from the Premier League.
Wouldn't you after that?
Him. Yeah, yeah. Well, I wouldn't.
I'd be hiding in the dogs as well.
If you've just signed a new contracts and you've been paid loads, like Rob wanted out like as soon as we were relegated, and he acted like an absolute pussy. He should have taken the plunge himself, and he hid from the players, and that showed on the pitch because the players weren't fit. The players weren't organised, and the players didn't have a bloody clue. Neither did the manager. Right, thank you very much, Si. Really appreciate you.
See you later, guys.
All right, take care.
Just while we shift over to the next or the last.
Oh, I already
20 minutes or whatever you want to do. There's a few comments on here.
Yeah.
You already done it.
I shifted to the transfer. Yeah. Let's get some comments.
Nice. Let's get some comments. So, yeah, Matthew Byro, you mentioned already, Mengi's staying, calling it now. He's too hard to shift. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. And he'll put in some effort, nowhere near enough, but no one else will want him. I still think teams in the Championship will see him as a good option. He still did enough for me. But, yeah, I think he will be hard to shift. Well, particularly now he's injured. I mean, we're waiting on a scan there as well. But, yeah, if he stays, I can't imagine him putting any effort in whatsoever, considering he wasn't interested in the Championship. Can you imagine how little effort he's going to put in League One? So yeah, there we go.
Well, Wilco seemed to believe that that Teddens had a change of heart, and he's actually bought in a little bit more to the club. He's actually getting involved with the youth, and he's being a bit more friendly. So I guess we wait and see. I'm not.
Yeah, because he realises there's nowhere else to go at the moment. Yeah,
seems that way. Offers have dried up. Whereas before last season, he probably thought he was a bit above playing in the Championship. But this is the reality of the situation. Or maybe he knows he's not going to get a move anywhere. I guess we wait and see. But to be honest, we've got enough defenders as it is. Any other comments here? Phil Clark says 4 million rising to 5 million if add-ons met. That would be for Alfie Doughty. 4.5. Yeah, good price. Matt asks a good one. Ask yourself this question: if he played for another team, how much would be happy to pay for him? I think if we paid 5 million, people would say we were stupid. T-Boy says 3 million rising to 5 with add-ons.
People are same with managers. We had this conversation. We were doing our Championship predictions the other day. People, clubs, and fans kind of, when they're looking at managers and players, tend to only look at the good bits, though, don't they? So they'll get all the clips together of Alfie in the Premier League and go, yeah, that's an excellent signing. And
they'll see him turn up with his massive big like what.
Yeah, well, it's like Charlton fans as well, and fair play to them as well. But look, if we can get Rees-Burke fit, if, and looking at what Amari Bell did again, some of the Premier League season in the season we got promoted and how good he was, and ignore all the stuff since then and the fact that Rees-Burke can't stay fit. In fact, I think he's already injured for Charlton. He's only
No,
played
he's not
20
injured. I
minutes of a
think
pre-season
Nathan Jones is,
game.
being very, very careful with him. I believe he
Oh,
knows.
right.
He's
So he's just
knows
he's getting rested.
Yeah, he's getting rested. He hasn't
So,
played.
so they're not going to play because he's worried about him being injured.
Exactly.
Genius. Yeah, I love
it. He's still undoing the
Amazing.
packaging that he was delivered to the club in.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Right. So I brought in Christian. Christian, good afternoon, mate. How you doing?
Not bad at all. It's good to be back on one of these after a long summer, but this preseason's gone, I think, a little bit better than anyone really expected. And only conceding twice is just impressive, no matter what level you're at and who you're playing. Even if one of those goals was to a bunch of 10-year-olds over in Slovenia or whatever. I think compared to last preseason, of course, that was my first summer with the club. It's a lot better place. Last preseason was very much kind of a circus, it felt like, and especially in retrospect, it looked like a circus. I mean, we signed 3 players in one foul swoop, which was more than we had going into last season. So it's just marked improvement in almost every category. I mean, there's a few issues that need to be resolved, such as signing another striker and replacing Dowdy if he ends up going. Also getting the shirts on sale, because those are supposed to be on sale sometime this week, and apparently they're not coming for a couple more weeks, which probably means October.
Just get them from DHgate, mate.
I live in the US, so unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm not condoning buying counterfeit goods, but I can tell you DHgate probably will have them delivered before the club can.
Yeah, they might, but I also live in the U.S. You gotta remember, and our government has decided that everything has to have tariffs on it. So that DHgate shirt might actually cost me more than it would just buying it from the club somehow. If Dowdy ends up going, that's unfortunate, but I don't think that's anything really unexpected. 3 to 4 million is a fair price for him. He has shown that he doesn't necessarily want to be here. I personally would like to keep him because I think he's a great player. I think that he would absolutely demolish League One, but I think he's proved that he doesn't want to be here. I also think that with it being League One, he's far above League One level, and you're not going to get him to deny a move to say Millwall, where he's from. You're just not going to get him to deny a move away. And we also don't want another Mengi situation where we're holding on to somebody who doesn't want to be here, because what has Mengi done for us in the past year? It's just been an absolute disaster. So if Dowdy wants to go, let him go. He doesn't want to be here. He doesn't want to be here. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, fair points. And an interesting comment here from Burley in the chat. We have 24 players, including Lockyer. I'll just say Lockyer's on a monthly rolling contract. I doubt he's not gonna get registered. Like noises from the club is they want to move forward. They don't want to look back. So it's a case of clearing. Everyone will be happy to hear clearing the dead wood out, and Lockyer will play football again, but I very much doubt it will be with our club. Apparently it's only 23, so it's got to be Chong and Mengi, or Chong and someone else. Sadly, it won't be Cooley, because from the horse's mouth, Cooley is not going anywhere. He's one of our own, isn't he? And then we have 5 first teamers under the age of 21. So that's interesting, isn't it? Christian, what do you rate our window out of 10 then?
I would say, for the level that we're at and the holes that we needed filled, I would say it's a solid 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, where I definitely wish that we would have spent some money. Free transfers, loans, those are great, but using the financial advantage that we have to get players that are at the level and also far younger than what we've gotten. A 35-year-old striker being one of our signings is just questionable at best. I mean, I wish we would have spent some money before the season, started, which, we're 5 days away from that. We're not going to get anybody in for a fee that is going to make any difference in the first 2-3 matches. And the window, obviously, yes, still has time. We still spend some money, bring players in, but as it stands now, with not using that financial advantage and kind of just hoping that the free transfers and the loans that we have will be enough. It's got to be a solid 7, 8 out of 10, because they're good, but I think we could have done better.
Oh, the optimism of youth. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I think at the moment, if the wind, I think the good question though, Christian, I guess, is that if you're giving that 7 out of 10, is that with the hope that things, the hope that we get strikers? Because if the window closed right now and we've got what we've got in, I think I couldn't give it better than a 4 or 5, based on that, because we are missing some key positions clearly. I don't mind Naki Wells on its own, by the way. I'm fine with bringing experience in as long as, and it's always as long as we have a striker that comes in as well. So when you're saying 7 and 8, is that with a hope that we then get a striker to come in?
I'm saying that with the optimism, yes, that this window isn't all the club has done to set us up for League One. A lot of what we did in January was also there to set us up in case League One were to come our way, which ultimately it did. For where we were at, to me, it's a 7 out of 10. If the window closed right now and we're not bringing anybody else in, I think we're sitting at fighting for playoffs. As it sits right now, we're fighting for playoffs. We're not going for auto promotion. We're certainly not challenging for the league title. My hope is that as the first month of the season comes along, we can bring players in that are going to elevate us to being able to challenge, Huddersfield, namely. I think Huddersfield and us would be the two clubs you're going to think will be the most likely to finish 1-2. I mean, as it stands now, I don't think we're at a level to challenge Huddersfield for the league title. But with what we've done and with what the club set up in January, I think it's been very good for us going into League One.
Yeah. Look, as I said, the optimism of youth. Luton never do it the easy way, and as you well know, we don't tend to hang around in League One for a long time, but records are there to be broken. Since it's been renamed League One, we've spent a total of 3 seasons in it, but I feel we're probably going to be spending a lot longer in a. I remember one of my, I think it was my second season as a fan. It was that 96-97 season, Ryman, where Tony Thorpe hit about 25 goals. He was absolutely on fire, and we lost the playoff semi-final thanks to Dele Adebola and crew.
Mm-hmm.
So
Crew. Who we beat 6-1 that same
6-0,
season.
6-0. Just
6-0.
a couple of weeks prior to that, we beat them 6-0,
right.
and then they beat us.
Classic Luton.
Yeah, exactly,
2-1.
exactly. Look, football ain't played on paper. I wish it was, because if it was played on paper, we would have been comfortable last season. We would have been competing for the playoffs, and this season
we'd have never gone up though.
No,
never got up to the Premier League.
Exactly,
so,
exactly. But football's not played on balance sheets and paper. It's played, in reality on grass. That's the way it is. Yeah. That's the way it is. Right, Christian. Any summarising thoughts before we boot you and get our final caller on? Unless anyone else wants to call in. The link is in the description below the video. So if you want to call in...
It's working. Make the most of it.
I know. I can't believe it. I actually can't believe it's working.
Well, let's say it now. There's only 9 minutes left.
Yeah, I'm so shocked. I was expecting this one to last about 10 minutes before it became a slideshow and just didn't work. Yeah, Christian, prediction ahead of Wimbledon. What do you think is going to happen?
I think we beat Wimbledon. I'm not on the train of it being like a 6-0 smashing. It's certainly going to be 2-0, 2-1, but I think we're going to come out with the 3 points, and we're gonna set ourselves off on the season on the right foot.
Yeah, well said, well said. Thank you very much for joining us, Christian. Really appreciate your time and have a good afternoon. Right. Comments before we bring in the next person. Matt 911. That's very that's very insensitive to put in the chat. Wait. How many points are we getting? Okay. Sorry, I read upwards. Yeah, that makes sense. I should read downwards instead. I thought with an American talking, I thought 9/11 was a very insensitive thing to write, but it turns out you're just predicting how many points we're getting from Wimbledon, Borough, Bradford, Wigan, Cardiff, and Burton. Okay, yeah, I'm all caught up. Whoopsie daisy.
Do you want me to take over? You want to take over while you have a breather?
I'm learning how to read, mate.
Yeah. So Rich also said, so with the squad right now, we have Wimbledon at home, Peterborough away, etc. How many points we're getting? I think that I think the difficulty is one of the things Christian said is that we've had a 7 out of 10 window, and I don't agree. I don't think the window's been all that impressive, although Keely's clearly a good signing. I'm really pleased with that one. Longwit looks good, and I believe that's with an option attached to it as well, so that's even better. So I was pleased with both of those. The thing is, we've got a good squad already, haven't we? And so therefore, it's not to be confused with how the transfer window's gone. We still got a decent squad. Obviously, keeping hold of some of those players, we keep hold of Ali or lose Ali. To me, that makes the difference between it being a 1 or a 9, as well. If we lose Ali, the transfer window's been an unmitigated disaster, right?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
there's a few little things that can shift this a very long way in the next week and a half, 2 weeks, and there will be movement. We all know that. So, and we're going to have our work cut out to keep hold of him. I don't want to be all negative about it. I'm desperate that he stays. I know that but there will be a lot of clubs sniffing around him.
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, Mason Tager in the chat. Hello. Thank you for joining us this evening. And Matt, you quite rightly face-palmed. It's all about the context of your point predictions. Accept the consequences of what you've written. Right, we are joined by Steve Moore. Good evening, Steve.
Good evening.
Yeah.
Hi, Steve.
Hi, Steve. So, what are your thoughts of the transfer window, and fancy giving it a rating out of 10? I feel you're probably going to be more closely aligned to what myself and Ryman think.
Oh, well, yeah, depends. I put it this way, I got more positive now than I was at 2:45 yesterday afternoon. Because I think it's quite important to get views, because you've got to remember we are in League One. And it's a long time since we were in League One, and not very many of us quite understand the level of League One. So I was actually watching, as I normally listen to, and actually use it to earn quite a bit of money most years, the Not to Top 21 to 24s this morning.
Mm-hmm.
And
they have us winning the league, don't they?
Yeah, I'm not sure I agree with that particularly, but the more important thing in terms of how I viewed what they were talking about us about is how they viewed various things, and the way they discussed it kind of made me realise actually we're in a better position than I thought I was. I agree with what they say, that actually when you think about other teams in this division, we probably do, and they're not including Mengi in this, probably do have 6 of the best 10 centre-backs in the division. And actually when you break down how well we played at the back end of last year, and we did play well, and the points tally shows that, our goal scoring wasn't necessarily done through creativity and creating a load of chances. Asgard and no Asgard. Yes, there's obviously things that they pre-recorded, and the Doughty hole is obviously huge. But I think the other thing they said that obviously struck a chord is, of 72 Football League clubs, two had players that scored 20 goals last season. Neither of them got promoted. One's a QPR reject that has gone to Charlton. Admittedly, one that I rated a very long time ago when he was at Southend before he was even at QPR, but even so.
Yeah, but the
And
reality is, Steve, we didn't even have a striker that scored double digits last season.
I know. We do now. We have a guy that scored double digits in the Championship last season.
But he's 35.
And if you're
Steve.
thinking short term, and if you're thinking we need to get promoted this season, the fact that he's 35 doesn't matter a job. Yes, I would rather have another striker.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you could promise me Jacob Brown was fit and was going to play down the middle,
he might be coming.
I could tell you for a fact he'd get 20 goals. He'd get the best part of 20 goals in this division if he played 46 games.
Yeah, but he's not going to play 46 games. He might play 4+6 games. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not. Yes, I would like to see us bring in another centre forward.
Mm.
Yes, we need to replace Alfie Doughty with at least one, if not two players. But we have 6 of the best 10 centre backs in the division. If we lose a couple, we're still very sorted centre back. George Saville probably is the best centre midfielder in this division, all round. Jordan Clark was exceptional at the last time he was at this level. He's not too old now, and now he's much more used to playing central midfield now than he ever did before. Last time he was at this level.
Let me ask you a question here. Okay, so George Saville, possibly the best central midfielder in the division. If Saville plays in a 2-man midfield, who's he passing to? He's either passing to Jordan Clark or he's passing it out to the wings.
To Milenik Ali?
Wait, he's passing to Milenik Ali, or he's playing it out to whoever's playing right wing, maybe Kajua, who knows, or he's playing it through
I think Walters will be fine as in League One level. He won't be the most exciting player, but I think he'll be fine League One level, personally.
Still not convinced defensively about Will Walters. I think he'll be fine going forwards, but I'm still not convinced defensively. But who knows? I could be wrong.
I don't know. I think Walters wants
away.
Just things I've heard, but I guess we'll wait and see.
Who's going to want him?
Well, we can't afford for another fullback wing back to go, can we?
The was probably starting within a month, but yeah.
Yeah,
yes,
but that's the thing.
Like...
You need to play a 3-man midfield. That's why I want to play like a back four, because it gives you.
But we're playing a 4-man midfield.
Yeah, but what are you counting wing backs in that?
No, I think the way he probably wants to play is the magic square: two holders, 2 10s, of which Milenik Ali's probably going to be one most of the time.
But they'll be drifting out wide, won't they? So what is that even going to be? Like a 3-4-2-1?
It's a 3 2 wing. Well, 3 2 wing backs, 2-2-1.
Yeah. See,
it's what worked. It's what got us the 3rd most amount of points in the division in the last 12 games last season in a higher division. Admittedly, we've lost some players.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't think we're going to win the league. Yes, that probably is disappointing, but I do not see us being outside the top 6. And yes, being outside the top 2 will be a failure, but I don't think we're in as bad a position as I thought we were at 2:45 yesterday afternoon. Is all I'm saying.
Do you think, Steve, just on, because bring it back slightly to transfers, and I get your point about Naki Wells, but again, a bit like a few others like Brown, he's not going to start every game. He's not going to play every game at his age. That's the problem, I guess. Do you think, considering the club hasn't paid anything for an outfield player as yet, other than compensation, obviously from the kid that we got from Exeter,
who should we say has looked very, very good and was very, very good for Exeter in this division last season, and he's 17.
Yeah, no disagreement there. Do you think then that fans are within their rights to be, expecting the club to shell out at least a fairly large sum, which we are going to have to if we want a proven goal scorer before the end of this window? Because, as you said, with all these players fit, then maybe that problem at least can be kicked down the road to January. But we are in a position where we're going to need it, and certainly wing backs and wingers. I mean, I don't know how long Izzy Jones is out for as well. As you say, Kadua's coming in, he plays in that position too, but then that leaves us a little bit short on both sides.
I'd rather take a gamble on something more random at centre forward with the attacking players we've got and spend more money at left wing back. Because I think you get better value for money there. Genuinely. I think you have to spend more at centre forward to get an equally good player.
Well,
But
look at Birmingham.
centre forward is not the be or end all of the situation.
Yeah, of
We
course,
can have 3 guys get 10 goals and it's as good as one guy getting 30.
Is it though?
If we're creating as many chances.
Yeah, that's what I mean though. That relies on a hell of a lot more chance creation. You think back to last season towards the back end, we had to create 3 or 4 chances for every 1 goal we're scoring. And, you know, teams, as Ollie said before, are going to sit back against us. They're going to put in low blocks. That's going to be harder to do. We're not going to have the space necessarily to be able to do that. That's the worry that I've got, is that we do need someone who can pick the ball up and find the back of the net consistently. You know, I don't get me wrong, I want the rest of the team to be scoring and chipping in as well, but I don't want to rely on that.
Yeah, I'd like to just get a wing back. But to create the chances more than I would, because you could easily because to get a player that's even scored a decent amount at this level, given that everyone knows we've got parachute payments, who's currently contracted with another club, you are looking at a significant. Say, for example, Naki Wells got 10 goals in the Championship last season. If we would get another striker, and yes, I do, given that, and obviously I can't imagine the club isn't looking at that, but given that all the rumours we've heard and the fact that no one's wearing the number 9 shirt, to get someone who had scored 10 goals in the Championship last season, who is under the age of 30, is going to cost 10 million. To get a player of that calibre to create chances and be not as good, but a Alfie Doughty replacement, perhaps, at wing back, which in this system will be a key part of creating a lot of the chances, costs an awful lot less than the striker equivalent.
Yeah, and to be honest, even if we don't replace Alfie Doughty, like Longwick did a good job. Not that
I don't think he's created a lot from there, though.
Well,
That's a big issue.
No, but I think the point is, like, even Joe Johnson could potentially, you know, be a backup for that. You know, I'm not going big on Joe Johnson, injured. But ultimately, yeah, I think he is injured. But ultimately, it's a case of playing an asymmetric system whereby the left wing back drops back into the left back position, allowing whoever's playing right wing back to really push forward. Essentially, everyone shifts across. That is my thought on it, really.
Especially with this Kadua,
and then Ali like sort of fills that left wing position. That is potentially how it could work. But I guess I'm not all doom and gloom ahead of Wimbledon. I do think it's going to be a reality check though for everyone. All the people that thought we'd walk the championship last season, and people that, you know, think you know will walk the League One as well. There's going to be a reality check. It's, you know, we're not going to.
I didn't meet a single fan last season who thought we were going to walk the league. As far as I'm aware, there was only 2 people that thought we were going to walk the league last season. That's Gary Sweet and Rob Edwards. I didn't meet anybody in the terraces that thought that we were actually going to do any better than we predicted them to do, which I think was the bottom end of the playoffs, which we thought was optimistic and turned out to be ridiculously optimistic. But I just hope that inside the club that reality check has finally come round as well, because you're right, it's not going to be easy, regardless of how good your squad is. You know, we've seen amazing squads in that league still fail to get promoted. It's a bloody tough league to get out of. Just ask, you know, your likes of Sunderland, Ipswich, etc., etc., etc. So, yeah.
It's also a significantly weaker league than it was last season, though.
It helps that Birmingham and Wrexham were both promoted.
Yes, 100%.
Definitely helps.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just, although I was going to say it's slightly disappointing that Stockport didn't get out of it as well, but given that it would have left a Nathan Jones powered Charlton, and everything that would have gone around those two games and around any situation where us two are in a battle for the same thing, from that point of view, it probably is actually better than Charlton went up rather than Stockport. But
Yeah.
and I know I
It goes
sounded a
against
lot
the
more
laws of the
positive.
universe as well.
Sorry.
No, go for it.
I know I sounded a lot more positive than some people tonight, but just put it this way: if you're asking me where I think we're going to finish right now, even given that you're predicting the rest of the window, I would say we would be in a 3-team title race right now. And I would say we are likely to be finished behind Stockport and Blackpool. So it's not like I'm overly confident, but I think we would be in that battle.
Plymouth have made a very good managerial appointment in Tom Cleverley, though. It could be a throwback.
And you cannot judge anyone on the positives or negatives of any job they do at that club.
True.
And I'm not saying that because of what that club is in relation to us. I'm saying it because what that club is in relation to who manages them.
Yeah, but he took a very ragtag group of people that were pretty much universally written off by everyone. Pundits, fans, everyone thought they were banging trouble, and he got them well organised. It was only when the Pozzo started to decide that they wanted to get rid of him mid-season that's when the wheels, properly came off. He had them in and around the playoffs until around February time.
Yeah, it's certainly better than Wayne Rooney as well.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're also talking about a Plymouth squad that's lost most of its best players and was probably playing above itself because of an exceptional manager who was there before. So even to be on that level, you have to be an exceptional manager to replace Muslic.
Yeah.
With a weak quality player. I think Plymouth and Cardiff will do well to finish top 6 in the because of the various different situations they've got within themselves.
Yeah, well, comments are coming in. We can't sleep on Huddersfield. Huddersfield have obviously signed Alfie May, who tremendous talent at this level. Tremendous.
Yeah. He's the closest thing to guaranteed goals you're going to get at this club because he is one of the few strikers who consistently scores goals at this level, regardless of system or style of play.
Yeah.
They got Joe Taylor as well.
Joe Taylor, yeah.
Who, and I keep banging that drum, but he is that promising player as well that isn't a guarantee, but I mean, they paid far too much for him, but I think him and Alfie May are a very dangerous prospect in this league.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but again, we know nothing about what Lee Grant's going to be. Lee Grant could be anything, and they've got a very disjointed squad. Huddersfield could win the league with the squad they've got. They could easily struggle with how disjointed it is. Lee Grant not prove himself to be a number one and miss the playoffs entirely.
Yeah. No, very true. Very true. Steve, thank you very much for joining us, mate. Really appreciate it.
And we'll see how it goes from Friday.
Yeah, exactly. Cheers, Steve.
Cheers.
Right, we have massively overrun from where we were.
Indeed.
Yeah. Sorry, we have another caller waiting in the old green room. Ryman, do you wanna call it, because it is past both our bedtimes, as Kamikaze Chaos says. Try not to yawn, guys. Hey.
Yeah, I saw that comment. Which one are you talking about? Because it might have been me, but I don't think so.
Hey,
but,
we both got young kids. Yeah, we're not bored. We both have young kids. We get up very early, and it's a school night. Well, it's a school night for me. It's not a school night for Ryan.
Some of us. It's a school night. Some of us on a long holiday. I'm not going to start. Yeah. He had his 3rd birthday this week. It feels like it's been going on for like the last month. Yours has just turned. You just had a birthday. Your little one's just had a birthday as well. So you know what I mean. It's just like,
exactly.
He needs to be off sugar for the next month.
I've had an entire day running around. He had my youngest had a friend over today. I spent the entire day running around after them today. So yeah, I will yawn. I will yawn if I want to. Kamikaze Chaos. He yawns when he wants. He yawns when he wants. Ollie K. He yawns when he wants. Yeah. Really appreciate everyone jumping on though. Sorry, Tyler. We'll get you on next week because it seems it's working, right? Insert that video of Star Wars. You know, Anakin powering up his pod racer. It's working. It's working. We've been going for an hour and 10, and no one. I've received no messages saying it's not working. So huzzah! It's
been good.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
It's
that you've managed to delete your history.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I've deleted caches. I've deleted absolutely everything I possibly could from my laptop to try and get it working.
Exactly. No other videos running now that they've got the age checkers on Pornhub, I guess, as well, which will help.
What is that about? I've seen that all over the place. Unreal.
Disgraceful stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Didn't think that was where this was going.
Sorry.
Yeah.
The late night.
Yeah. No worries. It's on there. You know, can't even edit it out in post.
Kate's not here.
Yeah, Kate's not here to tell us off. You know, we'll see if she watches it back, and you know, if so, you know, we get a telling off from the boss. It's been a good one. It's been good to be back, and I reckon our next one will be after. Well, we'll probably get together and record something before Wimbledon. I don't know, but we're going to do our League 1 to 24s, aren't we?
We're doing our League 1 124s. We did our Championship ones. Have a look at it if you're still interested in the Championship. We got some really lovely comments from people on that. I had a quick look today, so it's always good. It's always good for that. We'll probably do some form of preview or whatnot ready for the Wimbledon game on Friday night.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. You know, we're going to do previews a little bit differently this time around. But everyone, take care. Delighted to be back. Delighted my laptop's worked for this, and most importantly, come on, you Hatters.